So this is all part of this endeavor and project that I call jailbreaking the mind. I've spoken about it in the past. Deconstructing the mind. This is part of that. You can't jailbreak your mind without really deconstructing this social matrix, the social aspect, because most people just don't appreciate how much their individual mind has been influenced by the collective mind. And you might wonder, well, what do I get out of it in the end? What does it all lead to? And the thing is, I could tell you, but I don't want to tell you, because the truth is that if I told you, you just believe me, and that would just be more of the same. So see, it's not enough for me to tell you what you'll get out of it. You have to want to discover that. You see, if you're living in old Europe, old world Europe, back in the 1500s, and somebody like Columbus comes to you and says, hey, let's, I'm going to the America, I'm going to the west to the Americas there. I mean, he didn't call them Americas, but let's say the Americas. Come with me. And you would say, well, what's there? Tell me what's in it. Is there going to be gold? Is there going to be diamonds? What am I going to get out of it? And the truth is, I mean, he could tell you some pretty story about gold and diamonds and things, but you can't really believe him. The truth of the matter is that you don't know. You don't know what you're gonna get out of it. Maybe you're gonna drown at sea. Maybe a giant octopus kraken will devour your whole ship. You don't know. That's a very important aspect of this work, is not knowing, and discovery and exploration, and the willingness to go out there and to explore consciousness. And this whole attitude of some authority figure like me telling you why you should do something because you're going to get X, Y, Z, and to clearly articulate it for you and to feed you a little story that plays right into your ego, like you're going to get sex and money and food out of it or something. That's already antithetical to the kind of attitude you need to really figure out what reality is. Because the whole endeavor of figuring out what reality is to stop expecting others to give you the answer. See, that's what got you so locked into this matrix in the first place. Is you just kept asking people the answer, they kept giving you answers, and you just kept accepting their answers, and then 20 years later, your mind is completely full of all these silly answers that you haven't validated. And now it prevents you from exploring the rest of reality. And now you're stuck. So something different is needed to transcend. And one of these things is stop expecting easy answers. And rather than that, follow some certain principles and intuitions, right? Your intuition is actually a very powerful tool. You can have an intuition about, for example, the value of truth, the value of exploration and discovery for yourself, the value of independent thinking, the value of questioning deeply, profoundly. You can have intuitions about these things. I mean, honestly, I don't know why most people don't. It's baffling to me. Like when I was young, when I was 10, 15 years old, I just naturally, nobody needed to convince me of the value of truth, of the value of understanding a thing, of contemplating a thing for myself independently. It was just obvious to me that these things had inherent value in them and that they would lead to something important, and that if I didn't do that, something would be lost and problems would arise. The value of epistemology, the value of metaphysics. You should intuit the value of these things. And if you don't, it's kind of hard to help you, honestly. Because it all starts there. The value of radical open-mindedness. You should intuit that too. The value of wisdom, the value of living your life by certain principles, the value of integrity, the value of clarity, the value of living your life beyond merely survival. Can you intuit some of those? You're not going to know what exactly that's going to lead to, per se. Like, one of the lessons and principles of life that I've discovered is that you really, to live a good life, you have to plan less of it and to expect less of, what's going to come to you, and just operate based on certain principles and intuitions that are very fundamental. And then let life unfold from there. And just trust in those principles and intuitions. And don't try to micromanage your life too much in terms of like, oh, well, but will I earn money, or will this happen, or will that happen? I want to be exactly in this place in 20 years. Like, no. Life is far too rich and mysterious and counterintuitive to be able to plan your life out 20 years from now in this kind of simplistic way. It's much better to improvise. Part of learning to live a good life is learning to improvise. But the way you improvise is not just by being chaotic and just doing random dumb things throughout your life every day. It's sticking to principles. You stick to principles. And I've shared many of those principles with you throughout my videos, and those principles are what constitutes wisdom.